Hey, welcome to this special weekend edition of the Tech News Update. We are Saturday, June the 4th, 2016, and we have a special weekend edition because Friday, June 3rd, you might have noticed that we did not have any tech news, and that's because my tech guy duties were so intense, I did not have time to do any videos. So here we're back, so I thought that, yeah, why not? A little weekend edition news bulletin would be cool. So, what's new in the news? First, we have if in like Thursday and even part of yesterday, Friday, June 3rd, you might have noticed that iCloud, App Store, if you had an Apple TV, wouldn't connect well. Well, there was a major outage of the services of Apple. And so pretty much everybody wanted to connect to the Apple services. It didn't work. And for many hours, came back online late Thursday night, but still some patchy problems yesterday. Um, Interesting here is that we don't really know exactly what happened, and Apple is not really saying much. So we're not really sure exactly of the nature of the problem. But today, Saturday, June 4th, seems to be back to normal. I did have and try some Apple TV connections also on my iPads and iPhone. I tried to connect to see if it was working. And today it seems very solid, so I guess things are back to normal. So if you had some problems with connections on your iPads, iPhones, any Apple device you had, it could be normal. There was a major outage. Well, Russian hackers, 50 Russian hackers actually were arrested in Russia because they stole $25 million from banks using malware. So interesting to see that at least there is some form of law and order in Russia. Now, it seems that they were attacking Russian banks, so that's why they probably did something more intense than, the ones that attacked other countries. And so they put behind bars 50 of the Russian hackers that apparently were hacking into Russian banks. So, I don't know. It seems that if you're intelligent enough and you're an hacker, you don't attack your own country. It's kind of, it's almost as if you're giving yourself away immediately. Well, there is some more, of course, talk about that famous upgrade window that, is pretty much nagging people into Windows 10. But even worse, now people are being upgraded by force almost because they don't read. That's one thing I gotta make clear here. I am mad at Microsoft the way it's doing its upgrade process of Windows 10. But I gotta say that when you look at the window that upgrades to Windows 10, people that say they got upgraded without doing anything, well, that's because you don't read the window. Because the window does say, okay, it's small, but it does say, click here to postpone the upgrade process. And it seems people are not reading. So, there's half of the blame to Microsoft that's kind of intense and should be clearer. But I think half of the blame is to people that just don't read the windows that they have in their face. So, there was a news item about apparently a lot of employees at Microsoft themselves that are mad at the way Microsoft is pushing Windows 10 also. So it's kind of interesting. There's some kind of rumble inside Microsoft where some employees are just apparently really saying, "Look, this isn't a good idea. This isn't great. What you're doing is bad, and we don't like it." So really, Microsoft being pretty much hammered everywhere from outside and apparently from inside. Well, Google and Oxford Research are working on a way to make sure that Judgment Day doesn't arrive. Yeah, we talk about that regularly with the rise of artificial intelligence, with the rise of computers deciding and robots deciding from themselves. One of the things that Google is doing with Oxford Research is trying to write algorithms that mean that artificial intelligent robots cannot harm humans, cannot destroy the world, basically, like in Terminator. So it's interesting. I think it's worth, and I think it is a must do. Personally, I think it is something you have to do. It's very important to put guidelines to make sure that eventually, when these robots that are intelligent enough to actually take decisions don't basically harm humans. And finally, we have a little bit of news. In in about 9 days, on June 13th, there's going to be WWDC. Of course, going to be the Apple keynote, which I will be looking at, and of course, making a roundup. And before I get all the time, I get this information, I get these comments, people saying, this is a Windows channel, you shouldn't talk about Apple. Well, you have to, because many Windows users have iPads and iPhones and Apple devices. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. So don't tell me I shouldn't talk about Apple stuff, because it's part of our world. I do have an iPhone 5. I do have an iPad here. I have an Apple TV. Even though I'm a big Windows fan guy, really love Windows. I also got a MacBook Pro. So you gotta be real in when we say and talk about technology. So what we have is apparently during WWDC on June 13th, iOS 10 will probably be released that day. So meaning that while the keynote's there, they're going to announce, hey, you can now get iOS 10 on your devices. So if you got iPads, iPhones, waiting for a new version, it's coming to your device on June 13 probably. But there's also talk about OS 10, which will be at version 10.12. And that will, of course, have a release date announced, but we're not really sure what it is. Some people have been speculating that probably in September. So it's going to be interesting to see, and of course, we'll be checking out all of these keynotes and all of this information. And after the keynote on June 13th, I will be, of course, making a roundup video explaining the highlights of the Apple keynote. So this was the special edition of Tech News Update for Saturday, June 4th, 2016. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel. You'll be informed when new videos are online. Give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, let us know. And thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.